Well, all right. Welcome to this episode of the Road Hunter Podcast. We are out here again in a nature situation. Got a lot of really great feedback on the Pooper podcast. Glad you all liked it. I mean, it's an important topic.
It is an important topic.
It is. Because, you got to go when you got to go.
Right.
Sometimes that's out in the woods. All right. So today we've got some just random topics to talk about. Got a few housekeeping items about Eli and his dinghy.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk a little about what we just did. Because wow, was it fun. We've never done it.
Yeah.
And we've never done it that far before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really exciting. Cool. So tell me about what you've been up to this last week.
Got a boat motor to run. Well, I got multiple boat motors to run.
So we got to back up. We got to tell the story of the McKinney boat dealership.
Yeah.
All right. So, man, there are bugs everywhere.
Start with the first boat.
So yeah, let's just talk about boats.
All right. So the first boat.
Talking the very first boat.
Yeah. Very first boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. We never had a boat before. And, well, at least I've never had a boat before.
Yeah, I've never owned a boat before. I still haven't owned a boat, really.
Well, kind of.
Because these are your boats.
Sort of, but
No, I got to tell Mom they're your boats.
Yeah.
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 Eli's boats. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so we...
I am going to fall on my head. Sorry.
Yeah. You're kind of...
I've got a rocking situation where I'm about to go over. So it's a sitch, but we're going to figure it out. All right.
Okay.
Boats.
Anyways. So we never had a boat before where we were able to go on a lot. Like, we've gone on a couple of our buddies' boats and everything. But we normally just fish from the bank. And after a while, that's boring.
Very boring.
And so I wanted to buy a boat with the money that I got from working over the summer with a farmer. And I was like, okay, I'm tired of fishing on the bank. I want to buy a boat.
Yeah.
And so we were looking around, and the only really cheap boats at the time were drift boats. And we wanted a boat that we could either drift the rivers, we could go in the lakes, or we could go on, drift like the really nasty rivers. We also wanted to go to the Columbia.
Yeah.
But this dude was selling this drift boat that he converted into a normal
lake boat. Yeah.
He had like a trolling motor on it, and anyways, so the whole boat thing started with that one. And then I just kept looking on Facebook Marketplace trying to find more boats.
So we're going to back up to the very first boat. We got a smoking deal. This is where, there are some hazards to buying stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
Mostly the scammers. The scammers are real.
Yeah.
This particular gentleman put this boat out for a very reasonable price.
Yeah.
And we thought it might have been a scam, but we reached out anyway. Super nice guy, held the boat for us, even though, because I couldn't get down there right away.
Yeah.
Held it to the next day. We ended up buying the boat. What we found, though, was the drift boat is not the all-around boat.
No.
Because getting a motor on that thing to actually push it in some sort of
fashion.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it had an electric motor. The dude did a really good job. He put a little handle on it. It turned, and it was pretty slick. We caught a lot of fish in Detroit with it.
We did. Those trout were huge.
They were. But we attached some downriggers on it. We got it all set up to do kokanee fishing. But we never could get a good deal on a motor for it that was long shaft enough, because even a long shaft had to be like an extra long shaft to get it down far enough in the water to actually push that thing. So we decided we would maybe work on selling that boat.
Right.
So we're in the process of refurbishing it up a little bit better and getting it ready for that. And
that moves on to boat number 2.
Boat number 2.
So my grandparents were over, and this dude was selling this drift boat for $600. It's in a rough, what would you say, rough shape?
I mean, rough would be generous.
Yeah. I thought it was a really good deal. I mean, it kind of was, because it was 600. Well, it was 500.
Was
Because
it?
didn't we talk him down to 500?
I don't know.
I don't remember. It was either 6 or 500, and it's got some issues. There was a lot more work than I thought there was involved. So
let's talk about the work involved in getting this boat ready to go.
yeah,
So we're tearing out the floors,
right.
meaning we're taking the cross members out. We're ripping up that first layer of plywood because it was completely rotted.
Yeah.
And if you haven't done that before, it's exciting.
Yeah.
And now we're in the process of measuring and getting ready to cut to put that second layer back in.
Right.
Right. Once we do that, we'll do the fiberglass. Once we get the fiberglass on, we're gonna put it, maybe put a little paint on it,
Yeah.
and get it ready to do drift boaty things
Right.
going forward. Still a lot of work to do. We're probably a year out maybe on that one, even seeing the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that boat had a Mercury 9.8 on it.
Yes.
Which-
This was the gem of this purchase.
Yes. Which kind of runs.
It starts.
It starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got some shift lever problems.
Yeah.
It's got some stay in the right spot problems. Like you got to make sure we get the right tools to do all that. But it runs. It pushes the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the second motor. The first motor we got from a friend.
Yep.
The first motor runs great
So far.
so far.
Yeah.
Like it's the best running one out of all of them.
Yes.
It just needs an impeller.
So we started out with a boat that only had an electric motor.
Yes.
Then we acquired a motor, but it wouldn't have a shaft long enough to push the boat because
Right.
it wouldn't hit the water. Then we get this other boat, this other drift boat that has this 9.8 on it. So now we've got 2 boats, 2 motors.
Yes.
Yes. Both of them only half run because
Yeah.
we're waiting for some parts.
Yeah.
Old boats and impellers, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Like, how do these folks go out and drive these things without the water cooler thing?
Yeah.
It's weird. All right. Anyway, 2 boats, 2 motors at this point. 2 motors. One's running. It has all the parts in it.
Yeah.
It's just a little struggle bus right now.
You gotta make sure the shifter knob is in the right place.
Yes. And a screwdriver to shift it is a little awkward.
Yeah. And a wrench.
Yes. It's starting to rain.
Polar.
Love Oregon weather. All right.
Yeah.
Good thing we had an action camera for this bad boy.
Yeah.
All right. Now, so we've got 2 boats, 2 motors, and then
The new boat.
third boat. We
Yeah.
got 3 boats.
Which it's a good thing the first boat is almost on its way out the door.
Yes, we are very, very close to getting that one ready to sell.
Yeah. Which, when we bought the third motor, we thought there was just like a normal motor on it,
Yeah.
right? Turns out it's a long shaft motor, which is the perfect length for the drift boat that we originally bought.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this boat was, I would say, a pretty fair price.
Yeah, pretty good. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's say you doing your research on Facebook has been helpful
Yeah.
because it's a pretty good deal. Had a motor. It has an aluminum boat.
Right.
Yep.
And Myers are 14 footers are pretty good.
Yeah, a 14-foot boat, 14-foot aluminum.
Which the motor needs a throttle thing that, like, when you twist the thing, it pulls something on the cable up here
Yep.
that pushes the throttle down so that more fuel can get into the carburetor to make it go faster and actually make it go.
Yep.
So that's what we're
But it did
waiting on.
start.
It did.
It started.
And it pumped water out of the thing. So I don't think it needs an impeller because it was shooting water out of the exhaust.
I think that's still bad.
Probably.
Yeah. So now we've got 3 boats and 3 motors.
Yes.
Yes. Wow. We were motor poor, boat not rich.
Yeah.
And now we've got a lot of boats. Mom is really
Not happy.
pushing us to get rid of at least one of them.
Yeah. At the moment.
Yeah.
Which, as soon as we get rid of the one, then there might be another one that comes in.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is why we have a boat dealer, because Eli is trying to get in the boat flipping market.
Yeah.
So this is why I have a bunch of boats in my backyard and front yard.
And if you don't have a buddy who's a mechanic, find one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout
Very
out to
helpful.
Wyatt for getting these motors running. Good
Yeah.
job, Wyatt. All right. So now we've got 3 boats. Let's talk about what happened this week. Because this is awesome. Because he talked his mom into some shenanigans.
Yeah. So I tried to get one of my buddies to go with me. He said no. Tried to get another one of my buddies to go with me. He said no. And so I got my mom to go with me.
Yes.
Which I am glad Mom was with me.
There was a few things that happened on this trip. So, first time Eli's pulled a boat.
Yep.
And I'm so upset that I couldn't get off work to watch him back the boat into the water. Because it was the first time backing up the trailer into the water, too. And hopefully we'll get the opportunity in the summertime on a busy boat ramp to do a little boat ramp heckling.
Yes.
Yes. But I wanted to be a boat ramp heckler to this kid. But I guess he did a pretty good job.
It got, I think the third time second time. So the first time I backed it up, I did pretty decent.
Nice.
I was just a little bit too far to the middle.
Yep.
The second time I backed it up, which was like 10 minutes after we put the boat in water, jackknifed the trailer. And then I had to like turn around and redo it again. But the third time backing it in, it was smooth like butter. Because I realized there's no boat to tell me which direction I needed to turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to use my left mirror and the nice little electronical panel thing in front of me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which comes in handy when you don't know how to back a trailer.
I mean, I'm impressed that you got it in there without, like, you actually didn't have to, like, hire someone to do it or,
Yeah.
you know, have the old guy
Yeah.
get your boat in there. But we get the boat in the water. So this is what I get. We're here. Boat's in the water. We're on our way back to the dock to put the boat back on the trailer. And I think this all happened within what, like 25 minutes?
Yeah.
So it was an hour and a half drive to the lake,
Yep.
a 20 to 25 minute adventure, and then an hour and a half drive back home.
Yeah.
So what happened?
So we get there was a little bit of water in the boat to begin with.
Because it rained.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so when we put the boat in the water, I was like, oh, okay, there's just the original amount of water in the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get it all turned around and everything. And as we're trying to get out of the dock area and into the water, I was using the trolling motor because I didn't want to kick on the Mercury and not know which direction I was going to go. I was either going backwards or forwards. I didn't know which direction I was going to be headed.
The shifter knob situation has been a challenge.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyways, so I'm trying to get the trolling motor to turn, but I don't have enough board for the trolling motor to turn one direction, and I needed it to turn that direction so that it didn't run into the other side of the dock. And so that was kind of a pain in the butt because I didn't have enough board and I kept hitting the other motor. But we get out in the middle of the lake. There's a lot more water in the boat.
Nice.
I just thought it was the original amount of water. No. No. There was more water than I thought. But I try and get the Mercury to start again because it started before we left. Like, we started a couple days before we left. It was a pain in the butt. I got the fuel hooked up. I had to lift the trolling motor out of the water so that I could turn the steering wheel so it didn't, like, mess up the trolling motor so that we could at least get back if something happened. And I finally get the thing to start after I would almost probably bet 15, 20 pulls.
Nice.
Yeah. And I realized it wasn't in neutral.
Okay, that's important.
Because I had to take the wrench and, like,
Yeah.
mess with it a couple times, and then I hit the handle a couple times, and then finally it started. Anyways, I go like that to keep it on. And in neutral, the propeller still spins. So it shouldn't, but you're constantly moving. And so when I went like that, the back of the motor went whoosh, and then I felt like a crack in the transom, and The motor's not supposed to go like that.
Yes, no, it's supposed to stay.
Yeah. And so I thought it was hitting the bottom of the boat, which wasn't hitting the bottom of the boat. I learned about the swinging thing later. But yeah, so the transom cracked because it has a wood transom but metal. And I'm pretty sure I bent the metal too because it swung. And so I was like, okay, maybe. And so I hit it again. And it felt like the whole motor was about to just fall off the back of the thing. So I like held up the motor and had to turn it off. And then I had to lift it back up and put the little thing down so it would stay up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to put the trolling motor back in the water and then head back to the dock. And then by the time we got back to the dock, there was a crap load of water in the boat.
So, lessons that we learn.
Make sure the motor doesn't swing.
Yeah. We need to figure out that whole situation before we go.
Yeah.
So, boat-wise, we got to figure out what's leaking. And we think we know. It's the plug.
Right. I think I just need to adjust that screw.
Maybe. I think we have a new plug. The new plug came with the boat.
That's the one I use.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So we need to do that. Probably should put a little silicone or something around that area, just, for giggles. So we need to do that. And we need to fix the transom area. I think we need to put a new board in the back, like a big board, beefy board.
Yeah.
To kind of stiffen that area up. And that should help us out. And then we need to spend a little time in figuring out how to make it all stay.
Yeah.
But I laughed. I mean, whenever they because they were gone, and it was like an adventure. To get the mom to go with him there was a little talking into that scenario. And then, to it only be a 20-minute trip out on the water, I was like, this is perfect. Did you film it?
Mom did.
Not all of it.
Not all of it. Not me backing it up originally. But there wasn't really anything to show me backing it up the first time because, I did it perfectly.
Oh, perfect. Awesome. So,
Too far to the middle.
we've got maybe some more boat content, but man, failed outdoor fashion, 20-minute maiden voyage.
Yep.
And a boy in his dinghy out on the water. Yep.
It's a good thing I need to bring my dog.
Man, that would have been awesome. She would have got boat sick and just bleh, all over it.
Yep.
That poor dog. We'd love her to be a hunting dog. But
Yeah.
man, she just can't stay in the car long enough and keep her lunch down.
Nope.
Cool. So, boats are a thing that we're working on. I do have to say, Wyatt has been awesome.
Yes.
But my question to you is, have you learned anything?
Yes.
Do you think you could fix these things?
Yes.
Nice. The confidence isn't there for me. The confidence is not there.
With Wyatt's supervision.
This is a small motor mechanic right here.
He basically just said, well, all you got to do is just tear it apart and put it back together the way you had it.
That's like the famous last words. And then you're like, I have all these extra parts. So well. That's what I do. I have all these extra parts.
If it runs and you had extra parts, you didn't really need them to begin with.
Wow. I disagree with that. Cool. Boats. That was awesome. I can't wait to get out on the water and do some crabbing. I just have to make some adjustments. We have to go get some material. You and I got to figure out how to bolt it all on there and make it not leak.
Yeah.
Because sinking is not going to be fun.
And then use the Honda.
Yeah, we really need to get the Honda working.
Yeah.
All right. What did we just do?
We just shot 500 yards. Well, 555 yards to be exact.
Yeah, well, actually, we did twice. First round,
Yeah.
we shot 550 yards.
Right.
Second round, we shot 650 yards.
Yep.
Wow, that is a lot different than the 100, 200, 300 yards that we're normally used to.
Yeah.
We've been driving around this property that we're actually sitting on. Cool view too, huh? Willamette Valley. And we found this canyon area, right? This big, huge bowl.
Yeah.
On one side, the road dead ends. On the other side, the road dead ends. And both of them have a landing.
Yep.
And on the one landing, it has got this perfect, shooting across the canyon into
A berm.
the berm
Yep.
situation, and it ended up giving us some distance of anywhere from 550 to about 700 yards. We technically could have probably done,
Probably.
but we just kind of stuck with the landing
Yeah.
at our longest distance at 650.
Yeah.
So how do we do?
Terrible.
First time, we did not do good.
Nope.
Nope.
We at least hit the board.
Yeah, we got on the board. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a lot more practice.
Yeah. A lot more ammo.
Yeah, right. We just spent $80. Did you realize that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, accuracy by volume.
$85. Huh?
Accuracy by volume.
Yeah. That was an expensive trip. Wow, I didn't realize that. Wow.
$40 for each pack of.
Well, it's $42.99 for the Precision Hunters.
Yeah. Damn.
It's a little spendy trip. We're gonna have to get cheaper ammo to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's a must. Yeah. But this is part of our practice, right? We are off season. We are looking for opportunities to get out, get some trigger time, give us that confidence for season. So I'm not going to take a 600-yard shot.
No.
I'm not likely going to take a 550-yard shot.
Well, if we hunt in the canyon that we're shooting at.
True. Because there's a lot of deer in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, probably still not going to I'm still not going to shoot across that canyon and try to hit something at 650 yards.
Yeah, probably.
Like, if it's lower on the bottom, that's more of like a 400-yard shot.
Yeah.
That I could probably do. But, yeah, I need more practice. And you need more practice.
Yes.
We did pretty well, though. I think for the first time, getting our ballistic calculator out and sort of, those things are like okay accurate, but at least got us to the board, and then we sort of fiddled with the different windage and we didn't do the windage. We did the up down, like the height.
Yeah.
So we got the up down. Man, it keeps biting me in the face.
Yeah, they're kind of all over the place.
Yeah, they are. But we were pretty accurate. Right out of the gate, we were maybe level with the target where we were shooting at, and we were off to the right pretty consistently.
Yeah.
And then we were about a foot off. And then we got a few within the circle, but not consistent enough that I would think that we could take that shot on an actual animal.
Yeah.
But I think it's important. There's some things we need to work on.
Yes.
We were shooting first off a stump.
Which was terrible.
That was not a great idea.
No.
Then we moved, as we got to the 650, we did prone, which was better.
A lot better.
But I think the things that we're going to need to work on, form in prone.
Yep.
Because I think we both sort of tilted a little bit.
Yeah.
And we need to get more straight behind the gun. We need to figure out our a length of pull. Because I know it was different for both of us.
Yeah.
And so the eye relief was an issue.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. And then at that distance, we had it moved all the way in. I think we need to play a little bit with the magnification. Because we had it all the way in at 24.
Yeah.
And I think we could probably back that off to like 16.
Probably.
Yeah. It would probably give us less, like...
Yeah. Shaky.
Wobble. Less wobble. The other thing that I really tried to work on towards the end was situating myself where I had the gun parked into my shoulder, holding, and then completely relax and see where the crosshairs were.
Yeah.
And then move the gun to where when I was completely relaxed, that the crosshairs were right where I wanted. That way I could just grab the trigger and squeeze.
Yeah.
Because I felt myself really kind of like it wouldn't be where I wanted, so I would try to force it over a little bit. And I think as soon as I squeezed the trigger, it would pop back where the relaxation piece was. So I think a lot of that form we could take care of dry firing at home.
Probably.
Or the 22. We could
Yeah.
really work on the prone with our long range 22.
Yeah. I mean, I could shoot that tiny little
Yeah.
chicken.
If we could get that one spinny target and try to get out to a couple 100 yards at a 1/4 inch, I think if we can get that with the 22, I think we can then start seeing our groups come together out at distance with that 308.
Yeah.
Yeah. But more practice to come. I think we were gonna film today, but the YouTube and the ARs and all the things we really didn't want to.
Yeah.
We didn't really want to show the shooting right now, but we will eventually. We just wanted to go and have some fun, try it out, see how it worked. It was the first time we really got out to that distance, so
Yeah.
I'm excited to have a spot that we could go to and do a little practice.
Yeah.
What'd you work on? Did you notice anything when you were shooting? Did you make any adjustments?
I was too busy playing with the damn eye relief.
The length of pull was definitely an issue. I think, the magnification all the way in, I think if we would have backed it off, that eye relief would have been a lot better.
Probably. Because that was like that during hunting season. Whenever we had it at
Yep.
full, yeah.
So really that Athlon scope, which says 6x24, but I think it's more like a 6x18 or a 6x20, because I don't think all the way in is a good idea.
Yeah.
We should play around with that.
Yeah.
I also want to take the 6.5 and do that same thing. I think next time we do this, we should take both.
Yeah. Because isn't the distance farther on the 6.5 than it is on the 308? Or is the ballistics?
The ballistics are pretty close, but I think with the bolt action,
It's going to be more accurate.
it's not all gas. You don't have all the mechanism and the gas and the.
Yeah.
It's got a longer barrel on it, so we should get a little bit more velocity. But a few things to try.
Yeah.
I really also want to get that bolt action for that AR I just picked up.
Yeah.
So that would be a cool hunting rig.
Yeah.
A little heavy though.
Yeah. I mean, the AR-10 is pretty damn heavy.
It is heavy. It's a heavy rifle to hunt.
Yeah. But I know if a cougar steps in front of me, I got 5 rounds to just go one right after the other.
That's right. That's right. Accuracy through volume.
Exactly.
All right. I told you we had a lot of random stuff to talk about today. Not a big week, but little action in the boat. Maybe I'll see if I can grab the footage from Mom and do an intro with the boat.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we did a little shooting.
You need to put music over that
Yeah, I will, because I'm sure there were some cuss words.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right, what do we need to wrap up with?
I got coffee.
Ooh, oh, you're selling coffee this weekend, too.
I am selling coffee this weekend.
His mom and him are going to be at an event here in Dallas. And you're going to have the 3 coffees, the Road Hunter, the Zero Dark 30, and the Lost Hiker,
Yep.
available to those that love coffee. And I have an endorsement. I actually got a ping today from someone that was like, best coffee I've ever drank.
Oh, yeah.
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 So, and it's endorsed. It must be true because others are talking about it.
Yep.
So you should try it. failedoutdoors.com. You can pick up a half pound or a pound.
Yep.
If you are in Oregon, we can ship to you. If you're out of Oregon, I'm sorry, you're going to miss out on some coffee for a little while.
Yeah.
But if you're local to Salem or Dallas, we could actually drop it off to you and not have to charge the shipping and all that good stuff.
Yep.
So, cool. Well, thanks for joining. I know this wasn't like extravaganza of funniness like the pooper one, but we're going to have some folks come on the podcast interview style here the next couple of episodes, so that should be fun something to look forward to.
Can't wait for Ryan.
Yes. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.